Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and I'm back again with a highlights video of my recent trip from Seattle to Los Angeles for the big video game conference called E3. Now, a lot of these videos that you see primarily focus on the games themselves, and we're certainly going to do that, but this is really more of kind of behind the scenes look of what it's like to actually go to one of these expos. And we're gonna start with meeting Kelsey at the airport.
So our E3 plan is screaming babies. We're here at the Seattle-Tacoma airport. We are flying to LA. We're gonna go get a really fancy Airbnb. We're gonna check out E3 until Thursday, and so we're there for what, 4 days? Yeah, let's do this.
Now, technically, E3 is only Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but we're flying down Sunday to kind of get a jump on things because that's when all of the press conferences happen. And if you go down as media or journalists, as we are, you can sometimes get into those press conferences. Actually, Kelsey is going to get into Bethesda a little bit later. But for right now, we've landed and we're heading towards our awesome Airbnb that Kelsey got set up. The amazing thing about this is that it was actually cheaper than a hotel that would be near the convention center.
So here's the Airbnb we got. It's pretty incredible. We've got a room in here. You gotta see the kitchen too. I mean, I guess it's technically all kind of one thing, but like, this is awesome.
I know, it's awesome.
Way better than any hotel.
Oh yeah.
Afforded. There's all the buildings. We're a little bit far from where E3 is being held, but not, I mean,
not too far.
10 minutes away if that, so.
2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms.
2 baths.
So I'm in there, and yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, got this crazy view. I'm sure it's gonna look awesome at night too.
Yes.
So we picked up our badges, and now we are here in Little Tokyo, which is one of my favorite parts of LA. There's not really a lot to do in downtown LA, but Little Tokyo is kind of the exception. Lots of Japanese stores, obviously, but we're looking for an import game store right now, so hopefully it's pretty cool.
At this point, you'll notice that Kelsey's boyfriend Cody has joined us. Now, Cody is also the co-owner of Pink Gorilla Games, her store in Seattle, Washington. At this point, we have a couple free hours, and so we wanted to go check out a kick-ass retro gaming store in Little Tokyo, and this place did not disappoint. It was all Japanese imports for pretty much every system you could think of, and it was very impressive. It was really cool. It was actually busier than I expected it to be, you know, especially for an import store. But, oh man, we were just going crazy in here. I mean, the thing I love about this is that, you know, sometimes games in North America can be kind of expensive, especially retro games, but you find that the Japanese version of it can actually be sometimes cheaper, which is pretty cool.
Well, I got some awesome stuff. Probably more than I needed to buy, but that's okay. I don't even have room for this in my luggage.
That store is awesome, right?
So cool, and they've got a sister store, or a couple sister stores in Japan. So this is like a real, you know, a Japanese chain. I picked up Super Tetris plus Bob Bliss on the Super Famicom. I got a lot of red things today. I got Twin Bee on the Game Boy Advance.
That is so cool.
Yeah, which I love. I love this. Their classic boxes here. It's like a Famicom box, like a tiny Famicom box in a larger plastic box. I picked up a copy of Donkey Kong on the Famicom, which I already own, but there's a certain someone here at E3 that I'm going to attempt to get to autograph it. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm going to try. I'll let you guess who that is. And then I picked up a game for my WonderSwan collection, of course. They only had 4 games, so I was a little sad about that, but awesome. It's okay. Better than nothing.
Cody, what are you doing?
I'm loving these Sony announcements.
Alright, today is the first day that the hall is open, the expo hall is open, so we just got finished watching the Nintendo Direct. Today we're going to go see some cool games. We've got an appointment at the Bandai Namco booth, so we'll probably check out the Tales of Vesperia remaster, probably Code Vein, and that new Jump Force game. I don't know what else they're going to have there, but it's going to be a fun day.
We made it!
We made it! Well, inside, not the hall yet, but yes. Inside the building.
So close.
We're almost there.
So here's the first day of E3, and I don't care how many times you go, it's always so exciting, that first opening bell. It's It's amazing. Now, what was really funny about this, though, is that not even 5 minutes after we got there, IGN found Kelsey and started interviewing her and actually Cody on what they thought about some of the announcements that have happened previously from Sony and Nintendo and stuff like that. So that was a total surprise. I actually couldn't find them. I was like, where are they? They're total rock stars. Hey guys, the first place I had to hit up is the Bethesda booth because they have awesome merch, including this limited edition t-shirt.
Are you ready to rage here at E3? Join us right here at Rage 2, where you can see the experience, try the game, enjoy the ice cream, shoot mutants in the face, blow shit up, only at E3, only right here at Rage 2. I'll see ya here.
So like I mentioned previously, one of the things I like to do when I first get to expos like this is just run over to some of my favorite booths just to see if they've got some cool merch. And thankfully Bethesda had some cool t-shirts. Actually, they had a lot of stuff. So basically we're just trying to do kind of an orientation walk at this point.
So we're walking by and now we are inside the Sony booth somehow. I don't know how that happened.
They recognized me.
They just saw you and were like, come on in, you're scanned in now. So here we are.
Yay!
Let's try to play some Spider-Man real quick.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the media/VIP area where you have to basically have an appointment to get into, but the guy at the door saw me, was a big fan of my channel, and let us in, and we actually got to play Spider-Man. It did not disappoint. Wasn't that guy's makeup just absolutely amazing? There was an entire team of zombies all throughout the expo that were very, very impressive. So this is a bunch of just random shots of the floor, including, look at there's Brittany. There's Brittany. She's been on my channel a couple times. And also here is the Microsoft booth. This is the Forza booth here. They always have like an amazing super hyper car there, and I'm a sucker for that. So here's a McLaren. A pretty cool thing that Cody does is that he streams on Twitch. Notice that camera on his shoulder there. Well, that backpack is full of batteries and also cell technology so that he can do it all the time for hours at a time. He actually walked around for 8 or 9 hours that day. It was very impressive. One of my favorite booths of any expo is always Hyperkin because they have the coolest stuff, and this year was no exception. Look at these colored Xbox One Duke controllers. I want every single one of those colors, so cool. They also had a fully licensed Mega Man retro-styled wired controller for the Xbox One and PC. Pretty nice looking. And then check this out. This is a complete reimagining of the original Game Boy Color called the Ultra Boy, carved out of aluminum. So could be cool. But the highlight of their booth has to be the fully functional and retail-ready version of the Retron 77. This is the brand new Atari 2600 clone system, and they actually gave me one to take home. So I will be doing a review on that very soon for my channel. And then not far from there, you have the booth for the National Video Game Museum. And this was a nice surprise. I mean, when I think of E3, it's usually all the latest and greatest, games that are coming out. It was really cool to see this booth full of just old retro stuff. It was very cool. And then I ran into these hip-hop stormtroopers, which might just be the coolest thing ever.
Tomorrow we're going to Nintendo.
Yes.
And I'm gonna get to meet someone very special.
Yes.
And I might ask him to marry me. Either of them.
Either?
Shigeru Miyamoto's gonna be there. But so is Hisashi Nogami. And if any of your viewers are familiar with Animal Crossing.
It's a big day. It's a big day.
It might be my wedding day. That's what I'm saying.
So at this point, we're winding down from a very long, very fun day. We may have hit up a party or two and had something to drink.
Today is day 2 of the show floor, and it is a packed one for me. I don't know if you're gonna go with me this whole time, but it's gonna be pretty crazy. My first one is at Bethesda, which is gonna be awesome. I don't think I'm gonna get to play any Fallout 76, unfortunately, but we'll see what they do let me get to play. We've got Nintendo at 12:45, which will be pretty exciting. We've got Bionic Arcade, which is like a little mini arcade cabinet thing. It's kind of, E3's got a lot of little things like that. It's not just the big AAA titles and the big, you know, releases and stuff. There's also a bunch of accessory companies and peripherals and, you know, new gadgets and that sort of thing. So we're gonna check some of those out too. I've got Gearbox and I've got Techland and we've got some parties tonight. It's gonna be a really, really packed day and it's gonna be a good time.
All right, the second full day of E3, and we are off and running to our appointment with Bethesda. And the game that they showed us and put in our hands is the mobile version of Elder Scrolls. This is called Blades. And I have to say, this game was surprisingly fun. I mean, it feels like a full-blown Elder Scrolls game. Kelsey and Cody are huge fans of Overwatch, and the booth here was so cool because there's this rotating platform that you stand on, grab some weapons, and then there's a green screen behind you, and then you can act out whatever character you want, and then they superimpose or replace the green screen behind you, and it just looks so cool. This is a very neat booth. Being a video production nerd, I always appreciate getting a behind-the-scenes look at IGN here and how the, you know, quote-unquote pros do it. And now it is time for our appointment with Nintendo. We have to give a huge shout out to our friend Jonathan, who works there, that got us in. And as you guys remember, oh man, Kelsey was so excited to finally meet one of her gaming heroes. And this is the co-producer of Animal Crossing as well as Splatoon. Look at those smiles. He actually took the time to take a pen and draw on her box art right there. That's a character that he created for the game called Bob. She was so thrilled. This was a very cool moment for her, and I was so glad that we were able to capture that. But that's not it. They also led us into the area where they had some games set up for VIP people. And we got to play a couple games, including the new Smash Brothers. That was pretty awesome, although I'm not very good at it. So I handed the controller over to my buddy Jonathan, who at least was able to keep up with Kelsey because she's way better than both of us. I also got to check out and play some Overcooked 2 on Switch with Jonathan, which was cool. And then Kelsey actually got to check out the new Pokemon on Switch, but sadly Nintendo would not allow us to record any footage because it's not yet ready for the public. Immediately after that, we bumped into Adam Korlick, who was helping out the Sega booth and walking around with some of the voice actors from Shenmue. And this was so funny because basically the voice actor would stay in character and ask questions from the game, like, you know, do you know where I can find any sailors? But it's completely out of context and he wouldn't break character. And I actually got to participate in this a little bit where I tried to mess with him. It was so much fun to do. I can't wait to see the footage. It's getting to be nighttime and let's go find some gamer parties. And the one I've heard the most about is the Devolver Digital Party. And this did not disappoint. These guys know how to party. I mean, this was right across the street from the convention center, and they had live bands, they had VR set up, they had movies displayed on the walls, free drinks. They went all out. I mean, again, these guys really know how to impress people, to throw a party, and I can't say enough good things about it. We had a great time. Day 3 of E3, and we are off and running early in the morning, but definitely a little bit low on energy. I looked in the back seat and Kelsey was grumpy, and I totally understand because, you know, it looks like fun, but you are just going 100 miles an hour all week long. As a matter of fact, I looked on my phone and look at this, how many steps I took. It was like 20,000, 14,000, 13,000. I mean, it may not sound like a lot, but it's definitely intense when you're there. And also factor in, again, we're in meetings and, you know, shaking hands and stopping and talking with people and stuff. I mean, it's cool, but it definitely can wear you out after a little while. So for this last day, I had booked our final appointment at 10 a.m. with CD Projekt Red because they're going to be showing off Cyberpunk 2077, which I was very excited for. But it definitely put a little bit of a crunch on us because we had to turn in the keys for the Airbnb and also pack up all of our stuff to get to the last day here because we had to leave at about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, which was definitely cutting a little bit close. But we got one final walk around the expo, which was pretty cool. Then hop into a shuttle bus and try to haul ass to the airport and try to make our flight. All right, guys, we are at the airport. We are tired, we are hungry, we are exhausted. We had a great time at E3.
Yeah, we had an awesome time.
So I gotta know, what was the highlight for you of the show?
Well, I got to play a lot of really awesome games, but my highlight was probably getting to meet the co-creator of Animal Crossing, Sasha Nogami, at the Nintendo booth.
You were so excited.
I was crying a little bit. I mean,
yeah.
having to fan my face so I didn't faint. It was pretty awesome, but the games were great too. That's just a pretty unique experience.
Yeah. For me, it definitely have to be, and I think you will also agree, that Cyberpunk 2077 blew us away.
Oh my gosh.
It blew us away.
We didn't even get to play it.
Yeah.
It's not anywhere near ready to be played, but it was still the most incredible world full of just stuff. I mean, it was the most alive world I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, they basically played it for an hour, so we got to see an hour of it, you know, with the developer, with the QA department there. It was incredible.
So cool.
Yeah. So we got to ask our camera person, though, Cody, what was the highlight for you?
I think the best part of E3 easily was Devolver. Every part of it. It was the best presentation. They had some of the most interesting looking games, my friend Pedro, and they had the best booth. Free beer, free food, and Metal Jesus and I got into a intense Jenga battle that drew a whole crowd. It was amazing. So Devolver all the way.
So for you guys that were following along with E3, whether you were there or just watching online, what were the highlights for you? Let us know down in the comments.
Yes, and we, like I said, we're exhausted, but we can't wait to do it again. Next year, I'll probably prepare a little bit better. That's my only little regret, but thankfully you had me covered there. So where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on my YouTube channel or my Twitch channel. Both are just youtube.com/KelseyLewin, twitch.tv/KelseyLewin. I'm also on Twitter @KelseyLewin.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Take care. What made the expo even more memorable was you guys. You guys coming up to me, shaking my hand, and telling me how much you love my videos, the content, the Metal Jesus crew, and all the stuff that we do. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I didn't really expect that many people to recognize me, not just at the expo, but on the street, in restaurants. It was very humbling. It was very, very cool. Also, again, a huge shout out to Kelsey, who not only really made this trip possible, she's actually the one that booked the hotel and basically offered, a place for me to stay, but she also saved my ass many times when I got distracted and would have left my wallet in a bar. So thank you so much, Kelsey.